This week, they'll get a real test against last year's #1 ranked defense, the Buffalo Bills. Against the New York Jets last Sunday, the Bills' defense simply picked up where they left off a year ago. New York failed to register a single point. The Bills' offense, on the other hand, rolled behind blocks that, while not held very long, still enabled Joe Cribbs to find the end zone. Buffalo spent the afternoon proving that their offense is as well-rounded as any in the league. And Joe Ferguson passed for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. No longer a sneaky Cinderella squad, Buffalo is a good, solid football team, much like the Atlanta Falcons. And if their 31-0 rout of the Jets is any indication, 1981 could be a long season for AFC Eastern opponents. What little recent success the Baltimore Colts have had revolves around the arm and charm of quarterback Burt Jones. Jones had beaten the Buffalo Bills in his last 7 starts. In number 8, he was not so lucky. Jones left the game with an elbow injury and could only watch as a rugged Bill defense prepared to defend their AFC Eastern title. As the dust settled on a non-existent Colt offense, the Bills displayed a passing game as impressive as their defense. Tight end Mark Bramer, number 86, caught one of 4 Joe Ferguson touchdown passes on the afternoon. Last season's Rookie of the Year, Joe Cribbs, number 20, ignored the term sophomore jinx and scored his 3rd touchdown of the young season. The Bills outgained the Colts by over 300 yards, outscored them by 35-3. And as number 80, Jerry Butler, demonstrated, the Bills are clearly strong enough to become the first AFC East team in 5 years to repeat as champion. The Bills were a surprise team a year ago. Not so in '81. In Cincinnati, it was an old quarterback who proved that despite the new trend in headgear, some things are never out of fashion. Against Buffalo, Ken Anderson demonstrated that his accurate touch is still very much in vogue. The 11-year veteran threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, while the Bills countered with a fine performance from their own crafty campaigner, Joe Ferguson, who also threw 3 scoring passes. But Anderson, who had been benched in the Bengals season opener, rallied his team from a 21-10 deficit and ultimately sent the contest into overtime. In the extra period, Jim Breach's field goal provided the edge in Cincinnati's 27-24 win. In all 3 of their 1981 victories, the Bengals have come from behind. This from a team that many said lacked character. The Bengals may have a new outer appearance, but it's the heart that beats beneath their stripes that suggests a positive future lies ahead. In Buffalo, the Bills attempted to distance themselves from a nasty bit of recent history. With number 20 Joe Cribbs rushing for over 150 yards in just 17 carries, the Bills sought to end a 2-game losing scheme. Joe Ferguson and Jerry Butler, number 80, also victimized Baltimore. But the Colts defense eventually stiffened as number 67 Reggie McKenzie discovered when he set his sights on Bruce Laird, number 40. Burt Jones engineered a comeback bid with the help of determined receivers like Zach Dixon, number 31. Jones passed for nearly 200 yards in the second half and threw for a pair of touchdowns in the fourth period. While the Colts have been handed a lot of grief lately, they prove capable of handing it right back. But the Bills' 23-17 victory gave them the last word. In New York, Joe Flacco and the rambunctious Jets have burst out from the bottom of their division and, despite their enthusiasm, did not lose their heads against the Buffalo Bills. The Jets, anxious to avenge a humiliating 31-0 loss to the Bills in the first game of the season, wasted little time displaying their intentions. Number 42, Bruce Harper's touchdown typified the Jets' explosive offensive performance. Another look at the run shows that Harper's path was opened by the block of number 35, Mike Augustiniak. New York showed little respect for the AFC's number 2 ranked defense by gaining more total yards against Buffalo than any team this season. That included a Richard Todd touchdown pass to Jerome Barkham, number 83. However, quarterback Joe Ferguson willfully earned the Bills a measure of self-esteem. Ferguson, the NFL's third leading passer behind Craig Morton and Dan Fouts, threw for over 240 yards and 2 scores. Late in the third period, Ferguson's touchdown pass to number 80, Jerry Butler, tightened the game at 20-14. But the Jets were not about to let another win slip away. And moments later, when Mike Augustiniak fumbled, Bobby Jones, number 89, alertly scooped up the loose football and went 61 yards for the game-clinching touchdown. New York's 33-14 win boosted their record to 3 wins, 3 losses, 1 tie. After beginning 1981 with 3 straight losses, the Jets, who sometimes appear to be right out of the cast of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, are making a bid for the top spot in the AFC East. One thing is certain in 1981, the uncertain will prevail. Teams and players once shadowed in obscurity now have stolen the limelight, like the Denver Broncos and their surprising long ball threat, Steve Watson. Watson's reception was his 10th touchdown of the year, but marked the Broncos' only score against the tenacious Buffalo defense. The Bills consistently pressured quarterback Craig Morton with men like safety Rod Cush, who exploited gaps left open by committed blocking backs. By failing to pick up the Bills' blitzing secondary, Denver's powerful shotgun received double-barreled action. Buffalo's gambling secondary led the way to a season-high 7 sacks, and when they weren't making the tackle, the secondary gave Bill linemen second opportunities to get Morton. By stymieing the Bronco attack, Nick Mickemeier's 3rd successful field goal with 4 seconds left was all the Bills needed to win 9-7. The The victory pushed the Bills' record to 5-3 and one-half game behind the AFC Eastern leaders, the Miami Dolphins, another team comprised of obscure players. But against the Dallas Cowboys, Brian Sipe was cool, calm, and collected when he entered Buffalo's rich stadium last Sunday. Little did he know that evil spirits lurked about, plotting for nasty things to happen. If only Brian knew what was in store for him against those ill-tempered Bills. Sipe went down twice, but each time he came back. It was his touchdown pass to Ozzie Newsome, number 82, in the fourth quarter that pulled Cleveland within 2 of the Bills. Sipe's courage was merely a page in this NFL story. A whole chapter belonged to Bills running back Joe Cribbs. Cribbs, number 20, rushed for 85 yards and caught 5 passes for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. About the only thing that stopped him all day was the wall in the corner of the end zone. It was Cribbs' third touchdown reception, a 60-yard catch and carry that iced Buffalo's 22-13 win over the Browns. For the Bills, Cribbs' tidal wave was but a prelude to their interconference matchup with Dallas this week. As Jim Hannafin made his pregame rounds last week, he was mindful that his Cardinals have been suffering from a puzzling personality disorder bordering on schizophrenia. At times, the Cards have looked like genuine world beaters, but lately they've looked genuinely world weary. This inconsistent team was in need of something to restore their equilibrium. And the Buffalo Bills proved to be just what the doctor ordered. A healthy dose of opportunistic defense was supplied by number 37 Ken Green, who intercepted 3 passes and recovered a fumble. The Cardinals were also cured with plenty of juice. O.J. Juice Anderson, that is. Number 32 shredded the Bills' defense for 2 touchdowns. Anderson powered St. Louis to a 24-0 upset victory, the Cardinals' first shutout in 4 years. And with his 177 rushing yards, Anderson became the Cardinals' all-time leading ground gainer. Such heroics are worthy of theatrics, but O.J. showed remarkable self-restraint. While the Cardinals seem likely to continue on their roller coaster ride, the Washington Redskins are now on an even keel after spending the season's first 5 weeks dancing in the dark. On number 25, Roland Hooks. Hooks came off the bench to score Buffalo's lone touchdown in the first half. But Patriot running back Andy Johnson proved he was also a sub of big play capabilities. Johnson's 56-yard touchdown pass marked the 4th time that he has thrown an option pass for a touchdown this year. His efforts helped build a 17-13 New England lead. And when Buffalo took over with 35 seconds remaining, the Bills looked for their super sub. Hooks took the Bills inside Patriot territory, and when succeeding plays failed, Buffalo was forced to throw up a desperation pass with 5 seconds left. Hooks again stole the limelight. By nailing down a 20-17 victory, Hooks ended Buffalo's 2-game losing streak and improved the Bills' record to 7-5, just 1/2 game behind the Jets and Dolphins. With capable men like Hooks coming through in a pinch, using bench warmers may become the league's hottest trend. The Buffalo Bills found themselves in another must-win situation last Sunday. And once again, Joe Ferguson and friends met the challenge. Against the Washington Redskins, Buffalo made the sorts of plays champions are supposed to make. The Redskins may have won the battle of statistics, but in crucial situations, the Bills prevailed. Buffalo's opportunistic defense was burned only once, that coming in the second period, when a Joe Theismann pump fake lured the Bills secondary every which way but deep. And that was where Theismann found wide receiver Art Monk. The Redskins had been trailing 14-0 until Monk's catch and a John Riggins touchdown run knotted the score. But for the second time in 2 weeks, a stubborn opponent would be outdone by Buffalo's super sub. The clinching score came on a third-period tackle trap play, and the ball carrier was backup running back Roland Hooks. Just as he'd done the week before against New England, Roland Hooks scored the Bills' winning touchdown. Final score, Buffalo 21, Washington 14. Trying to solve the puzzling San Diego Chargers can be a frustrating endeavor. Every time it seems they've found the right combination for success, something prevents them from clicking into place. The problem certainly isn't their colorful offense, which was in full force last week against Buffalo. A 67-yard touchdown reception by Kellen Winslow, number 80, helped Dan Fouts exceed the 4,000-yard passing mark for the third consecutive season. And with Fouts throwing for 2 first-half scores, the Chargers' share of the AFC West lead appeared secure. But while San Diego's offense always poses an enigma for opponents, the Bills' Joe Ferguson was aware that the Chargers' defense has been nothing to shout about this season. Ferguson and determined receivers like Lou Picone, number 89, kept the Bills fighting for their playoff life. With Ferguson passing for nearly 200 yards in the second half, the Bills matched San Diego blow for blow, then eventually assumed a 1-point lead. Number 82, Frank Lewis, caught 5 passes for over 100 yards, and Roosevelt Leach, number 48, accounted for 2 of Buffalo's 3 rushing touchdowns. But the Bills were less successful when attempting razzle-dazzle, as defenders like Lyndon King, number 57, tripped up Buffalo's hopes of turning the contest into a rout. With less than 2 minutes remaining, the Chargers drove to the Buffalo 32. Their destiny was in their hands, but not for long. Chuck Muncie's fumble was recovered by number 28, Rufus Bess, and the Bills remained in the complex AFC playoff puzzle. A puzzle that San Diego might not fit into by season's end. The same holds true for the Buffalo Bills, who last week clinched their berth in the Super Bowl Derby with a hard-fought but thorough victory on the road against the floundering New England Patriots. Discounting a short November slump, the Buffalo Bills have played consistently well all season. In contrast, the Patriots seem to have 2 distinct personalities. This second quarter handoff to Vegas Ferguson went for a 19-yard score. But in the third quarter, the same play call exposed the Patriots' alter ego. It's this side of the Patriots that New England fans choose not to be identified with. Last Sunday, Buffalo quarterback Joe Ferguson threw sparingly but effectively, and number 20 Joe Cribbs rushed for 153 yards in addition to scoring on this 39-yard pass play as Buffalo beat the Beantown Bunch 19-10. It took stamina and resilience for Buffalo and Miami to survive the stretch drive in the AFC East. Through 15 weeks, the muddled AFC East had not produced a champion. It was showdown time in Miami, the Dolphins and the Bills. The winner had a division title. Tradition did not favor the Bills. Buffalo had not won in Miami since 1966, and if the first quarter was any indication, the streak would not end in 1981. Tommy Vigorito's touchdown gave the Dolphins the early 7-0 lead. But then Buffalo started playing the kind of football that had netted 4 straight victories. The recipe for Bill's success contained 3 ingredients: a healthy measure of defense, a dab of Joe Ferguson's passing to number 82 Frank Lewis, and perhaps most importantly, a whole bunch of Joe Cribbs. Cribbs number 20 is the spark that ignites Buffalo's flame, and he burned the Dolphins with his tough inside running. But all Buffalo could serve up was 2 field goals. Late in the game, number 58 Kim Bokamper got to Ferguson just as the Bills quarterback released the ball. The result was an interception by Mike Kozlowski, number 40, and a Miami victory. The 16-6 win gave the Dolphins the AFC East Championship and a home field advantage in their opening playoff game against San Diego. The Bills have no such luck. They go on the road to play the Jets in the wild card game.